Ladies and gents, boys and girls, welcome. This is the Overtime Drive, SEC Unfiltered's SEC football show, the best SEC football show on the internet. It is Monday, August the 4th, 2025. And as always, I'm Chris Phillips of SEC Unfiltered. We appreciate each and every single one of you tuning in. Lots to get into tonight. A solo show with yours truly, as you see our friend Cole the Bear Thompson not with us tonight. More on that here shortly. But again, tonight's show, we are talking hot seats. We're talking fall camp intel. We're talking coaches poll and some other things we're going to dive into also. Again, appreciate each and every single one of you tuning in. As always, make sure you like, subscribe, turn on notifications. Check us out via podcast, wherever you get your podcasts. You can also find us across all social media platforms, as well as our website, secunfiltered.com. And as always, we are powered by our friends over at FanDuel. Visit FanDuel.com/SECU to join today and get started with $250 in bonus bets when you win your first $5 bet. Once again, that's FanDuel.com/SECU to get $250 in bonus bets today. Once again, this is the Overtime Drive, SEC Unfiltered, SEC football show, the best SEC football show on the internet. It is Monday, August the 4th, 2025. And as always, guys, I am Chris Phillips of SEC Unfiltered. First things first, no Bear Thompson. And the reasoning for that being about an hour or so ago, I got a call from our friend Cole the Bear Thompson. Bear had an allergic reaction to something. I'm not exactly sure what it was. Some probiotic, I think he said. But let's just say this, folks. I have seen the pictures, and it is not good. It is not good. So our guy Bear is on the mend. Everybody drop a Bear in the chat. Make sure the Bear is okay. Obviously, yeah, kind of crazy stuff. But again, stuff happens, is what it is. I just hope Bear's face comes back up and is back up on the mend, because I'm not going to lie to you folks. It's a pretty rough look. It's a pretty rough look, to say the very least. So you get a solo show with me tonight, which means want to take a lot of your questions, a lot of your comments. Also, those tuned in live, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Yes, we did go live a little bit earlier than normal tonight. It is 7:35 Central Time, 8:35 Eastern. This show was planned originally to go live at 8 p.m. Central. But after the cancellation of the Bear, I was just simply sitting here and said, you know what? I don't just want to kill 30 minutes. Let's go ahead and get after it. So again, on that note, let's do exactly that. Let's get after it. Like I said, guys, we got lots to discuss, lots to get into. Big topic for tonight. Of course, one of our favorite topics as we go into every single college football season, especially after what happened last season, and that being no coaches from the SEC were fired a season ago, which is just, it's unprecedented. I mean, I don't remember the last time that happened where all 16 head coaches are returning. What that means is we're in for bloodshed this season. There is absolutely no doubt. So I'm going to talk my hottest seats in the SEC, just kind of give an overview of where we're at when it comes to hot seats, the scorching seats, the hot seats, the not so hot, maybe some honorable mentions of those where the warmth could be turned up depending on how things go. Also, of course, the USA Today coaches poll, want to react to that, give my thoughts. Some teams on there I definitely think that are overrated, some that I think are underrated. We'd love to get you guys' thoughts, and we will discuss and debate. We got a lot of fall camp intel to get into. And then also, guys, we talk about things on the field, but we also talk about things off the field, right? Whether it be SEC, whether it be the national college football scope. And I do want to discuss this because it caught quite the reaction this morning and all throughout the day. On3's hiring of Zach Herbstreit as one of their newest, and essentially their newest, national college football analysts. Again, this was something that a lot of people had something to say about this. And so as someone in this space, as someone in the sports media space, and certainly the college sports media space, it is something where I want to give my thoughts, and would love to hear from you guys as well, but definitely have some thoughts on it. What it means, I think, not just for the collegiate sports media space, but what it tells us about sports media. I think if you're smart enough and you plug 2 and 2 together and you're paying attention, I think you're able to learn some lessons from this and really, again, what it means, what Shannon Terry and his crew are doing, and again, what it means with every other sports company, essentially the trends that we are seeing. But again, guys, that being said, hey, love a good solo show. I've done plenty of solo shows in my time, so we're back rocking and rolling. That being said, let's go ahead and dive into it. I want to first start, of course, like I mentioned, it's that time of year. It's that time of the preseason where we talk hot seats. And I think this is such a fascinating conversation this time of year heading into this season specifically because of what happened last season. Guys, 16 of 16 SEC head coaches return from a season ago. If anybody would like to tell me the last time that happened, I'm all ears, but I can't think of it. I have no clue when that would have happened. It was truly unprecedented. Now, why did that happen, right? Why did that happen? I think revenue sharing had a lot to do with it. I think the new era with the portal and NIL, all of the money moving and changing of hands essentially had to do with it. I think with this new revenue sharing stuff, I don't know that these schools were quite as antsy to maybe pull the trigger on their head coach who they felt like was in limbo. Also, we had some coaches just flat out meet and exceed expectations. I mean, Billy Napier is the most obvious one, right? Everybody thought he was a dead man walking last year. Sure enough, what happens? He's back. He goes and wins 8 games. So you had that. It was a combination of that. It was a combination of the revenue sharing stuff. And again, a lot of these schools, the uncertainty when it came to the future, I think, of college athletics and not being so gung-ho about spending money. I think you didn't really know, number one, if you were going to have, and number two, if you did have it, if you wouldn't need it for something else necessarily. But again, what it sets up this year is a really fascinating situation. Guys, what's really funny, so we're doing this season preview series for every single team, right? And I love doing this because it gives me a really good gauge and a look on each of these individual teams. We talk to someone who covers that team specifically, who is on that beat. So you get a really good feel, right? We hear a lot from conference pundits, from national pundits, but when you're able to really go to the source and talk to these people that live and die with these programs day in, day out, you learn a lot more than I think you would from even someone like myself or like the common goer who just talks college football. So here's what's funny to me. Like I mentioned, all 16 coaches back, there's going to be bloodshed because I have talked to folks. Let's just start with the scorching hot seats, okay? And this was something I knew beforehand, right? If I told you Brent Venables, Hugh Freeze, and Sam Pittman were all on scorching hot seats going into the season, nobody would bat an eye at that. Nobody would balk at that. You'd be like, yeah, that's absolutely right. Like, that sounds exactly right. That's exactly what I have. What you may not have realized is just even how scorching those seats are. Because I have talked to people that cover each of those individual teams, and I always like to get a gauge. Hey, where do we stand right now? What's the vibe around the head coach? I ask that to everybody, even the ones like Kirby Smart and Steve Sarkisian and those that feel kind of untouchable. Still, it's good to get a gauge, right? What's the temperature of the fan base? How do they feel about their head coach of their program? Talk to Tyler McComas of the Ref in Norman, Oklahoma. It's 8 wins or bust for Brent Venables. Less than 8 wins, he'll be fired. So, again, just stop for a moment and think about this. When it comes to Brent Venables, I've been told anything less than 8 wins, they think he's canned. When it comes to Hugh Freeze, I've been told anything less than 8 wins, he's probably gone. And when it comes to Sam Pittman, I've been told anything less than 7 wins, he's probably fired. Folks, what that tells me is somebody is getting their ass fired in the season. Because there is no way that all 3 of those I just mentioned are going to have good seasons, especially Brent Venables and Hugh Freeze, who play each other. There's just no way. So there's going to be bloodshed. We are not going through another season in which all 16 coaches return. I mean, that might be an obvious statement, but it's a statement that needs to be reiterated. We're going to have some movement. There's going to be changes in the SEC. I've been told by folks that cover Oklahoma that Brent Venables is on the hottest seat, they believe, in the SEC. I think that's debatable. I think you could throw Hugh Freeze in there. I do think something going for the Venables argument, he's in year 4. Freeze is in year 3. Why is it not Sam Pittman? It should be Sam Pittman probably, but the reason it's not Sam Pittman, the expectations aren't as high. I think there's more apathy in the Arkansas program than any of these other programs. That's the problem, right? That's why his seat is not the hottest. I don't think I really realized until talking to folks down there in Norman who cover Oklahoma, I don't know that even I realized how hot Brent Venables' seat really is. Because I'm sitting here thinking going in, hey, obviously you got to improve from last year. Offense has got to improve. But, listen, with that schedule, if you go 7-5, you made an improvement. Maybe you could sell the trajectory's positive and you're on the up and up. Obviously, you want to get to 8-4. 8-4 would be a great season. Nah, I'm being told anything less than 8, he's gone. Anything less than 8, and Brent Venables will be packing his bags. And again, that's coming from folks, boots on the ground in Norman, Oklahoma, that know a thing or two about a thing or two when it comes to the Sooners. So, yeah, that does tell me he's on the hottest seat in the SEC. I think it's fair to say Brent Venables is on the hottest seat in the SEC. When you think about, even with the additions, John Mateer, Jaden Knott, however high you are you want him, even with the additions, when you think about the personnel he's still working with, and you think about the schedule, and you think about the expectations, he's on the hottest seat. The difference with Hugh Freeze, too, guys, is, again, his seat is very hot, and maybe this makes his seat hotter, but it'll be easier, I think, for Hugh Freeze to get off of it because the schedule's so much more workable. Now, do I trust Hugh Freeze as far as I could throw him? No, I do not. I don't trust Hugh Freeze in the slightest. I do not. Nope, certainly don't. But I understand, again, the expectations for Venables are, because I think if Hugh Freeze goes 7-5, I think he's probably back. I do. It sounds like if Oklahoma goes 7-5, Brent Venables, they're going to want to move on. So here's the funny thing. I'm spending so much time on those two. I think the most obvious one is Sam Pittman, though, because I don't think Arkansas, yes, Taylon Green. Again, I'll be dropping my game-by-game predictions here really soon, within the next week, actually. Arkansas will be one of the first up. I like Taylon Green a lot. I really do. Guy's an electric playmaker. I don't think there's enough around him for Arkansas realistically to win more than 7 games. And I think even that is like best case scenario type of vibe. So they feel like a 6-6 or 5-7 team, especially when you look at their non-conference. Memphis is tough on the road, Notre Dame at home. Guys, this is probably a 5-7 team. And I think at that point, and it's even if you go 6-6, I think at that point, it'll be so painfully obvious that it's time to move on from Sam Pittman. Guys, there's a reason why a couple weeks ago I dropped my hot seat tier rankings. I had Sam Pittman in the dead man walking category. I see a path to Venables being back. I see a path to Hugh Freeze being back. Barring a miracle and Taylon Green doing his best Johnny Manziel impersonation on a weekly basis, I don't see it for Sam Pittman. I think this is the end of the road, and I think Arkansas will be looking for a new head coach going into the 2026 season. Now, those are the scorching hot seats. Now, there's a next tier here. The hot seats. Not scorching hot, just hot. These get a little tricky because buyouts come into play, specifically Mark Stoops. I think, again, what is the competitive pressure for the football team to win at a high rate? I don't know, man. Like, that program ain't got a lot of juice right now, and they love their basketball. I think Kentucky fans want to win, obviously, but, part of, being on the hot seat, guys, is just what are the expectations? What does your fan base expect? I don't know. And Mark Stoops has a crazy buyout. Crazy buyout. So I don't know that I don't feel like Kentucky's going to be willing to pay that. They'd have to be just absolutely miserable. And they might be. I don't think Kentucky's going to be very good. They might be miserable. But I don't know, man. That buyout is steep. I mean, it's like $30 million. How bad do you really want to get rid of your head coach? Billy Napier is the other one. I think you have to keep Billy on the hot seat. This is another one where it's just the expectations in Gainesville are different, man. I know they feel like they've been really patient with him, and I mean they have to an extent. They have to a degree. Yeah, if they revert back to like a 6-6, man, I don't know what it would take for Billy Napier to be fired this season. But if they go backwards in win total, listen, you can try to sell the whole success isn't linear thing, but fan bases, they don't like to go backwards. They don't like to go backwards when it comes to win totals. They don't care that, I think it's like nails on a chalkboard to college football fans to hear, man, like they could be a better team this year and win less games. Oh my God. There's nothing college football fans hate hearing more than that sentiment. So I think Billy Napier, if you revert back to going 6-6, I mean, God forbid they go less than that. Could see a change, but I think Napier's seat is still hot. Guys, honorable mention for me as we wrap up the conversation. Honorable mention for me when it comes to hot seat. Do I think these two are going to get fired this year? No. I think these are two, though, that could see their seats exponentially warm up this season. Okay? Exponentially warm up. And that being Jeff Lebby at Mississippi State. If they win 2 games again, if they don't win a conference game again, I'm not saying they're going to fire him. From what I've been told, folks I've talked to in Starkville, they've acknowledged it's at minimum a 3-year rebuild. But if they go winless in SEC play again, his seat will be scorching going into next year. There's no doubt. So his seat could go from, I think there's a lot of understanding in Starkville right now. It could really turn up. I mean, it could really turn up if they go winless in SEC play again, especially too, if they lose to Southern Miss in the season opener, right? I mean, you got Arizona State and your other big non-conference game. You should win the other 2. And God forbid you lose to NIU. He should be fired on the spot. Yeah, if you lose to like Southern Miss in the opener, though, man, I mean, But I think Lebby does get another year, but his seat could warm up exponentially. The other one I got, guys, it's Brian Kelly. I mean, listen, if they go 8-4 again, I don't know that he'll be fired, but Lord, the seat will be warm enough to you could set a pot of crawfish on it and boil it. I mean, it'll be that hot. The seat will be that hot if they go 8-4 again. With the investment they've made, no, it's just unacceptable. It's college football player for bust for them. Like, really, truly. So, again, I am not saying Brian Kelly is going to get fired after the season. I'm just saying his seat could exponentially warm up. It could. It could. So, yeah, guys, that's my hot seat rankings. I mean, again, I think the hottest seats in the SEC this year are pretty obvious, with Venables, Freeze, and Pittman being the scorching hot seats. I think Pittman's I feel really confident saying Pittman's gone end of season. I do. I hate it. I hate it for my guys in Fayetteville. I hate it for the Hogs. Love those guys down there. I don't think Arkansas. A lot of questions that could go in a positive direction. You never know. It's too many questions for me to buy in and say Arkansas is going to be that surprise team that pops. I just, with the schedule, and at this point, like, you know what you're getting when it comes to a Pittman team. You know what you're getting when it comes to Pittman at Arkansas. Like, picking them to go 5-7 or 6-6, maybe 7-5, but like that's around 500. It's the safest bet you can make. It's the safest bet you can make. So I'm not high on Arkansas at all. I do think Pittman's going to be let go. But the most fascinating part has been talking to folks that cover Oklahoma and cover Auburn. Boy, especially Oklahoma. Damn a schedule. The expectations are high. So I'll tell you this, guys. I'd set the over-under at probably 1.5 coaches. 1.5 coaches getting fired. 1.5 coaches. And I feel confident taking the over, to be honest with you. I could set it at 2.5. That feels a little bit aggressive. If I was trying to get even money on both sides, I'll go 1.5. But I think one. There's no way we're getting to 2026 with all 16 of these coaches intact, guys. I asked you the question of who is on the hottest seat. I asked you that on Twitter. I appreciate each and every single one of you that contributed, engaged with this. We always appreciate it. A lot of responses here. I'm going to run through these really quickly. CFB Focus on Twitter. This comes from Mike in Columbus, Ohio. Sam Pittman and Mark Stoops are really the only ones in any imminent danger of being gone this season. Stoops less so due to buyout. But if enough people in Lexington care, that can be done. Again, Mike from Columbus, Ohio. Appreciate you, Mike. Hope you're enjoying Columbus, holding it down. We'll see you week one. Again, I think Pittman, all but a lock. Again, Stoops, it's the buyout. That is the biggest thing. Stoops with the buyout, really tough. Trevor says on Twitter, really hard to narrow it down. This is Trevor from Vancouver, Washington. Trevor, shout out. Not exactly SEC country, but holding it down for the SEC. I appreciate that. Really hard to narrow it down to one, but certainly Kelly, Freeze, Napier, and Venables are all in the hot seats. To me, Brian Kelly is the one with the highest expectations out of all of them and is the most to blame for his program not succeeding yet. Again, you're right. The expectations are there. They've made the investment. They've got to make the playoff. I just talking to them down there, man, I think even if they miss the playoff, it will be chaos. There's no doubt it'll be chaos, but I think he'll get one more year. I do. Let's see. Darina from Mount Juliet, Tennessee. Shout out to the state of Tennessee. Hugh Freeze, Mark Stoops, Sam Pittman, although Arkansas and Kentucky are used to mediocrity. Auburn won't tolerate it much longer. Arkansas has got to get out of that. Kentucky in football, I can get. No disrespect to Blue Nation, but I can get. Basketball's king there, always will be. Arkansas, I mean, there's no reason to me why Arkansas can't be at least a 7 to 8 win per year program, and every 3 to 4 years, 4 to 5 years, whatever, scratch 9 to 10 and make a playoff. I don't see why that's impossible. I hope they see it too. It's tough sledding right now. Travis White, Travis from Adairsville, Georgia. Shout out. Billy Napier, he's a Gator fan, by the way. His profile picture is a Gator. He says, Billy Napier, got to win 8+ with the roster. Like we said, hey, listen, everybody brought their coach back. So there's a lot of teams and a lot of fan bases that have high expectations. How do I know somebody's going to get fired? Because ain't everybody winning 8+ games or going to the college football playoff. Not everybody's doing it. Everybody can't. Somebody has to lose these football games. Not everybody's winning 8+ games. Steven from Canyon Lake, Texas says Kelly and Stoops will be holding their respective teams hostage due to buyouts. Hot seat includes Freeze, Napier, Pittman, and Beamer in that order. Sark leaves for the NFL. That'd be interesting. I don't think he's going to, though. I just don't see it. I disagree Beamer being on the hot seat. It's just, dude, listen, he's so beloved in Columbia. He's so beloved in the Palmetto State. And you got to really appreciate how much goodwill buys you, how much goodwill beating Clemson buys you as the South Carolina head coach. Shane Beamer is not on any remote sense of a hot seat. They could go 5-7 this year. Guys, he's back next year. There's no, Shane Beamer for this season, they'd have to go winless in SEC play. Outside of that, Beamer's back. He's not on any remotely type of hot seat. Not in my opinion. Not at all. Sean McCarthy, how is Sam Pittman not number one? Are we sure he makes it past the midway point of the season if they start poorly? That's a great question. Will we have a coach this season fired halfway through the season? It's possible. Very possible. You're not wrong. Josh says Arkansas needs to win 8 games this season. If at any point 8 wins are not mathematically possible, it's time to make a change. The Arkansas-Auburn game could dictate which coach gets fired first. Venables and Kelly should be on the lukewarm seat. Again, it's interesting how SEC fans think Venables' seat. They're like, oh, yeah, his seat's kind of warm. Oklahoma fans are like, oh, yeah, he's if he don't win 8 games, he's cooked. If at any point 8 wins are not mathematically possible, my guy, I could argue they're not mathematically possible. We ain't even started the season yet. I hate to say that. And,
I hate to be a Debbie Downer. I don't see it. I hope I'm wrong. I don't see it from this Hog squad, though. I don't see an 8-win season incoming for the Hogs. I just don't see it, guys. I really don't. MJ says Hugh Freeze. Again, I think that one is just super, super obvious. Again, I think the ones we've mentioned are really, really obvious. And I appreciate all those, by the way, that engaged, gave us your responses, your answers, means a lot. We appreciate it for the show. Venables, Freeze, Pittman. Those three, again, to me, the most obvious. Guys, before we go any further, I do want to tell you about our friends over at FanDuel, because as always, we're brought to you by our friends over at FanDuel. FanDuel Sportsbook is here to help you make every moment more. The app is safe, secure, and super easy to use. If you already have an account, FanDuel Sportsbook offers great promotions every day to all users with things like Profit Boost tokens, new features like Parlay Hub, build your own same-game parlay, or choose from one of the popular SGPs already made for you in the Parlay Hub. If you haven't signed up yet, go to FanDuel.com/SECU to learn more. That's FanDuel.com/SECU. You can bet on literally anything and everything, guys. College football, college basketball, pro sports like MLB, NBA, NHL. You can bet on fight night. They got props, parlays, totals, spreads, you name it. They have got it. So once again, FanDuel.com/SECU to get that $250 deposit bonus when you win your first $5 bet. Once again, that's FanDuel.com/SECU to get $250 in bonus bets today. Guys, it's that time of the preseason. The USA Today Coaches Poll was officially dropped. The preseason Coaches Poll. And I had some takeaways from this. I want to hear you guys' thoughts. Really, really curious here. The Coaches Poll Top 25. This comes out every preseason. Let's run through it really quick, and I'll give you guys my thoughts. Number one, number one, I would have Texas 1 also, but they've got Texas number 1, Ohio State 2, Penn State 3, Georgia 4, Notre Dame at 5, Clemson at 6, Oregon at 7, Alabama at 8, LSU at 9, Miami at 10, Arizona State at 11, Illinois at 12, South Carolina at 13, Michigan 14, Ole Miss 15, SMU 16, Florida 17, Tennessee 18, Indiana 19, Kansas State 20, Texas A&M 21, Iowa State 22, BYU 23, Texas Tech 24, and Boise State 25. The preseason coaches poll is actually really interesting, guys, because if you actually talk to folks in this industry that know a thing or two about a thing or two, they'll tell you a lot of these coaches don't even fill this out. They have a GA, they have a staffer, whatever. I don't really care who filled it out. It is fun for conversation's sake. Would love to hear you guys' thoughts. I'll spend a little bit of time on this. I don't want to. Here's the thing. Love talking about the polls. Don't want to overreact to kind of what is, hate to say it, somewhat of a meaningless poll. But either way, there were some teams in this I thought were overrated. I think Ohio State at 2. Listen, huge question mark at quarterback. We have no clue what Julian Sayin is going to be. And you lost some key pieces off that national title team a season ago. I'm not, and by the way, guys, when I say overrated or even underrated, I'm not saying bump them down 10 spots, 15 spots, knock them out of the top 25. I'm not saying if you're underrated, you should be ranked in the top 5. But some teams that I'd have a couple spots lower, some teams that had a couple spots higher. Ohio State at 2. I'd bump them down a spot or 2, right? Clemson at 6. Here's my thing with Clemson. Extremely talented, right? May have the best front 7 in college football. Fantastic wide receiver room. When did we decide Clemson was elite again? Because this time last year, it was about Dabo doesn't use the portal. Clemson is a shell of what they used to be. And then somehow going 9-3, losing to 3 SEC teams, going 0-3 against the SEC, but because they beat SMU in the ACC title game, the narrative on Clemson changed so fast. When did we decide they were elite? I understand teams get better. I understand that returning experience. I totally get that. I totally understand that. But at the same time, Cade Klubnik and winning the Heisman, guys, I got to see that. I got to see that. I can't just buy into that blindly. I don't know. I'm not saying Clemson's not a good football team. I'm not saying they won't win week 1, but I wouldn't have them at 6. And listen, Clemson will beat up on the ACC. They're the best the ACC has to offer, no doubt in my mind. National title contender, I don't know that I'm ready to go there yet. I don't understand when we all decided that, oh, Clemson's back. Like everybody it's almost like people that cover college football nationally, they're so excited and ready for Clemson to be back. They want Clemson to be back. It's like, what happened last year that told you they were? Guys, number 8, Bama for me, a little bit overrated. Again, I'm high on Bama too, but just questions at quarterback with Ty Simpson. I just don't know what I'm getting with Ty Simpson. I have no clue. South Carolina at 13, I think is overrated. Guys, I've mentioned this many times. Listen, I'm just going to say this too. For everybody hearing the sound of my voice, anybody that's seen me on social media, anything else like that, I don't care how many angry, salty, pissed off Gamecock fans come in my mentions and talk shit and say things that aren't true and accuse me of this and do that. I'm going to speak my truth. I'm going to be an unbiased analyst. That's what I do. That's what I've done my entire career, and it's worked out pretty well to this point. I think South Carolina at 13 is vastly overrated. I think they're probably the most overrated team in the SEC going into the season. I think putting them anywhere near the top 10 is absolutely lunacy. If you followed this program for longer than 30 minutes, you probably understand why that is not a smart idea. That being said, they might have the best quarterback in the SEC, and I'd put him somewhere from 20 to 25. 13 is too high. Spare me. 13 is too high. Number 18, I got Tennessee. The Vols in the top 20 with Joey Aguilar at quarterback, I can't get behind it. Questions at wide receiver, I can't get behind it. Who's going to run the ball? I can't get behind it. Defense is going to be good. Defense will probably be top 20, but Tennessee at 18, it's way too high. Not with the questions they have. Boise State at 25 for me. Guys, I just miss me with the G5 stuff. There's SEC teams behind them that I think should be ranked ahead of them. I do. Boise State should not be in the top 25. You lost Ashton Genty. I understand they got experience coming back. Guys, Boise State's not one of the 25 best teams in the country. They're just not. Another one that I did not mention yet, I'm going to jump around and go back to. How about Indiana? Indiana being 19. Nah. You weren't good last year. You played two good teams, and you got schmacked by both. Nah. Get them out of the top 25. Get them out of the top 20 at least. Guys, let's talk underrated. Number 3, Penn State for me is underrated. I'd bump them up 1 spot. Maybe 2, but 1. That's all I'm saying. But I think they're a little bit underrated in this poll. Number 9, LSU. What are we doing? Got to be ahead of Bama. LSU's got to be ahead of Bama, in my opinion. Like, you've got the veteran quarterback. I know you got questions too. Everybody essentially has questions. But with the veteran quarterback and Garrett Nussmeier, LSU at 9 is too low. Florida at 17. And this is hinging on DJ Lagway being healthy. But assuming he is healthy, right? Assuming he is healthy, I like them higher up than 17. Believe it or not, I think Texas A&M is a little bit underrated. I do. With the talent they have. Again, I'm not saying putting them top 10, guys, but I'd probably put A&M around 16 or 17. I would. I'd bump them up 3, 4, 5 spots. Yeah, with the personnel they have. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And then 2 more for you. They're both not ranked. Oklahoma. I mean, guys, if A&M is going to be in there, if Ole Miss is going to be in there, holy smokes. I could have said Ole Miss was overrated. Should have probably thrown them in there. Oklahoma with they're big. If the O-line clicks, they're a top 20 team. Bottom line. First time, by the way, since 1999, Oklahoma has not been ranked in the preseason coaches poll. Pretty wild. 1999. That was a long time ago. I thought Oklahoma was underrated. I think Georgia Tech with Haynes King. I think it's easy to fall in love with Georgia Tech. It is. I think they're a little bit underrated too. So, guys, again, would love to hear your thoughts. I'm not going to beat a dead horse here, but that's kind of where I stand with these. The USA Today coaches poll, preseason top 25. We will get the AP poll this time next week. So certainly that will be a big topic of conversation for us next Monday. Again, would love to hear your thoughts in the comments. You agree with me? Do you disagree? How do you feel about the the coaches poll top 25, the preseason coaches poll? Who's overrated? Who's underrated going into kickoff? Guys, I want to keep it moving. So, again, you guys, if you follow me long enough, you know, I don't like here at SEC Unfiltered. I'm glad we do this. We push the boundaries. We don't just talk about stuff on the field. This entity is, yes, the core foundation of it is we talk sports and we talk ball and we give predictions and we all the stuff going on. But we talk about other stuff also, like stuff within the media space, stuff within our own personal lives. Like it is a media company that goes beyond sports at times because we want to be the most personable and relatable. And we also want to attack the topics that maybe others won't discuss. And a topic that took over social media today that I wanted to give my thoughts on, just simply give my thoughts on here because I thought it was interesting, was On3's hiring of Zach Herbstreit as a national college football analyst. Now, let me say this first and foremost. Obviously, I respect any entrepreneurs, founders, owners, leaders' decision to make whatever decision it is for their business. In this case, it's Shannon Terry. Respect the heck out of Shannon Terry. His resume speaks for itself. I got to meet with Shannon Terry one-on-one a few weeks ago here in Nashville. Had a great conversation, about 45 minutes or so. Picked his brain. We bounced ideas off each other. Great conversation. Great dude. Deserving of the success that he's had. I mean, he's built 3 monsters with Rivals, with 24/7, and with On3, right? So, and I would never tell another man how to run his business. Who you want to hire is not really any of my business. Like it didn't. It doesn't matter to me. It only matters from the standpoint if I want him, right? So, and I've also, believe it or not, guys, I'll let you on a little secret. I've talked to Kirk Herbstreit also via DM, and we're working on setting something up in Nashville, just talking college football, maybe a potential show in the works, whatever. The relationship has been created there. So I actually really debated whether I wanted to discuss this. But at the same time, while we have a relationship with both of those gentlemen, you know, this is a topic of conversation and a point of interest you guys find interesting. I find interesting. And I thought the feedback to it today was really, really interesting. So as you guys always know, as I always say, a pick's never personal. Well, a take isn't personal either, but a take's a take and a take will be given. I'll just say this. Did it bother me when I saw that Zach Herbstreit, the son of Kirk Herbstreit, was hired by On3 as a national college football analyst? No, it did not. It did not bother me. Here's why it didn't bother me, though. I own my own media entity. I don't want to get hired by On3. I don't want to be hired by 24/7. I don't want to be hired by Rivals. I'm not seeking employment from anyone, especially not a traditional sports media entity, okay? So I have a little bit of a different vantage point here. But I found it fascinating because I think you can learn something from this. And also, guys, I'll say this. The Zach Herbstreit hiring, stuff like this is why I went independent. Stuff like this is when I started my journey back in 2017. Stuff like this is why I said I got a better shot trying to create my own thing than leaning on other people to clear a path for me. I was like, I'd rather bet on myself. I believe in myself. I can create a product that people, especially the common fans, resonate with. I can do that immediately. And maybe in the short term, it is the harder path, but in the long term, it is the far more rewarding path. Because I'm sure many of you out there can relate to this, but especially in the sports media world, what do you always hear coming up? It's the good old boy network. It's about who you know, right? Pay your dues. That's a big thing in sports media. Pay your dues. And that's why so many of these big J's and these old school journalists, they get so upset. They get so bothered when they see an independent entity come up and have success. He didn't pay his dues. He didn't eat shit for so many years. He didn't have to go cover middle school volleyball in Biloxi, Mississippi for 5 years before he got on the high school basketball beat. And then do that for 10 years. And then finally, he's on the high school football beat, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, this is further proof, though, that still exists. All due respect. Like, all due respect. Zach Herbstreit got hired because of his name. Like, it's not even a topic of conversation. That's not a shot at Kirk Herbstreit. That's not a shot at Zach Herbstreit. It's not a shot at Shannon Terry. He got hired because of his name, though. Guys, the kid hasn't tweeted in like 3 years. I got to be honest with you. I mean, I was told this was happening. Believe it or not, it didn't even register me who Zach Herbstreit was. I didn't know who that was. No personal brand, no resume, no body of work. And now is the national, or one of the national college football analysts at On3. Listen, again, does it bother me? No, because I'm the founder and owner of a company. I'm not trying to get hired by On3, respectfully. Not trying to get hired by 24/7. I'm not trying to get hired by rivals. I have a lot of sympathy, though, for my counterparts, my colleagues, my peers, and some of my friends in this space that bust their fucking asses on a daily basis. A lot of them are just looking for a shot. But this kid who just graduated college, who has no resume, who has no background, who has nothing to speak of, no social presence, no nothing, gets it handed to him. Nepotism was the word I saw all day today. I mean, listen, guys, it's a lesson, though. Welcome to the real world. It ain't fair. It's not fair. Like, this has been happening forever. This is why, like I said, back in the day, I decided I'm not going to be the guy. I don't want to work for the company. I want to own the company. That's why when people ask me, you know, what's your 5-year plan? You want to go work at ESPN? I'm like, fuck no, I don't want to work for fucking anybody. Like, you think I want to work for somebody? Have somebody control my ceiling, control my content, control my day-to-day? Absolutely not. So that, like, can you imagine working at On3? You've been busting your ass, putting out good content. You're waiting. Maybe you're waiting on a promotion, or you want to be the national college football analyst guy. And then they hire this kid. Respectfully, I'm saying all this with due respect, but it only would probably hurt your feelings because it's true. Like, it's okay. It happens. And we can just all acknowledge it happens. But, like, you got a position you didn't deserve. Like, and again, it don't bother me because I don't want said spot. But it is very interesting. And what does it tell us about the current place that media is at? Well, here's what it tells us. Being successful in media, and look, by the way, ESPN today, my goodness, should have mentioned this too. They hired some chick I've never heard of before. They hired a team of creators I've never heard of before. Why did they hire them? Well, go look at their Instagram followers. Go look at their TikToks. They're all like 1 million, 500,000. The influence out the wazoo. And again, guys, like all of that happened today, it really is a lesson for all the young creators out there, for all the, the young folks in sports media, or, I mean, I don't care what age you are, like anybody in sports media, like take a good hard look right now at what's happening. It ain't about knowing ball. That's the bare minimum. And simply knowing ball, you feel you're superior to your peer because I know more ball than you. I don't hit like it used to. That is not enough. Knowing ball is the furthest thing from enough. It's not those that know ball that are getting the opportunities. It's those that are entertaining, that can build massive platforms with massive audiences, that can get engagement, follower count. And if all that else fails, who do you know? Is your dad Kirk Herbstreit? Were you a pro athlete? Were you a successful college athlete? I mean, that's the harsh reality of it. I just thank God every single day that I bet on myself and kept betting on myself every single day, day after day. This Zach Herbstreit thing is a reminder why I did that. Because this is just the reality, guys. It's the reality of the sports media space. You are better off. Not everybody's meant to do it, but I genuinely feel for a lot of people, like I said, that I know that are busting their asses every day, every single day on content. And you don't want to tell anybody, and I fight this internally. Like, you don't want to tell anybody to sell their soul, because it's not just about getting a bunch of followers. It's not just about making the most money. Like, if you're not being genuine to who you are, genuinely yourself, even if you reach a certain mountaintop, it'll be unfulfilling because you're like, I had to cut a piece of myself off, or I had to compromise my morals, my beliefs, who I am to get to this thing. It won't hit the same. But again, it's something I fight internally too, because it's like, to hell with it. Why not push the envelope even further? Why not go, be the most cringy or be the most outrageous or have the hottest take? Or like, if it's just genuinely about a follower count, if it's just genuinely about, going viral, because none of us can get a Herb Street last name, right? Like I'm not all of a sudden going to be a former pro athlete. Again, not that I need to, but it is a lesson for everyone in the media space. And I do find it fascinating, hence why I talk about it. So you're damn right it's nepotism. You're damn, and I think it's unapologetically so. Like, I mean, listen, like if SEC Unfiltered would have hired Zach Herbstreit, I would tell you right now, guys, we did it because you're either going to think it's so cool that we have Kirk Herbstreit's son on our network, you're going to watch all his content and be like, damn, that's so cool. That's Kirk Herbstreit's son. Or you're going to hate watch. And I guarantee you a lot of people will hate watch. I mean, guys, he already dropped a piece of content. The one-on-one he did with Julian saying, guys, all due respect, I think Zach Herbstreit could be, I mean, listen, he might go on to be their best guy. And he might be one of the figureheads in the space. You watch that content, he needs reps. That's a kid that kid is being thrown in the fire. He don't know what he's doing. That kid needs reps. So, again, I'm not hating on him at all. I'm certainly not hating on Shannon Terry. I'm not hating on Kirk Herbstreit in the slightest. I'm not hating on Zach Herbstreit. But I wanted to talk about it because, number one, I don't get an opportunity to talk about this stuff a lot. But number two, it's fascinating the transition and the shift we have seen in media. Not just sports media, but all of media. It's about being entertaining and being influential. If you cannot be those two things, you don't have a chance. Knowing ball, quote unquote, knowing ball has never meant less than it does right now. It's just, that's why I always laugh. People are like, you got a prediction wrong. Who gives a shit? The video got 50,000 views, 100,000 views, 500,000 views. I mean, I hate to say it. It ain't about what my winning percentage was. Like, it's not about being the smartest ball knower. Like, if that were the case, guys, it was about knowing ball, all these shows, all these former athletes, they'd all be the biggest shows. But they're not. People would rather listen to, believe it or not, Stephen A. Smith, Skip Bayless when he was on air, Shannon Sharp when he was on air. I love him to death, but Pat McAfee. I think they actually do a really good job of bringing guests on, and when they talk about it like they do, I mean, obviously they know football, but that, pardon my take, respectfully, it's about entertainment. It's about entertainment. It's about influence. And again, this Zach Herbstreit thing, as someone that owns a company, whatever, doesn't bother me. If you work in sports media and you saw this and you had a negative reaction to it and it kind of bothered you, don't hold a grudge, because holding a grudge only hurts the person with the grudge. But I don't blame you. I get it. I get it. It doesn't feel fair. It's just, but this is the harsh reality. It's a cold ass world. So, hey, I mean, it's never too late. Might be time to go do your own thing, because ain't nobody out there looking out there for you. I just, bottom line, it is what it is. It's a harsh reality, but it is what it is. So anyways, guys, love to hear your thoughts on that. Finally, let's close out with some fall camp intel. I try not to overreact to any of this stuff, but some juicy intel, no doubt. The funniest thing by far and the most notable that happened over the weekend, the blurred out quarterback gate, which I saw today may not even be a thing. It may have been a raindrop on the camera because it looks like maybe the blur moved. I don't know. Who knows? A Vol fan could have made that up. If it is actually blurred out quarterback, that is hilarious. I mean, it might just mean too much, right? Instead of just means more, might just mean too much. I mean, I just it's so funny. It's so funny that we're like, we have to blur out the player because we're so, listen, if it wasn't Joey Aguilar, That's who it has to be. Like, if it is blurred out, it had to be Joey Aguilar. And here's the thing, guys. Who cares? Like, I know we're in the overreaction business, the content business, but like, dude, the guy threw a pick at practice. Where's that Allen Iverson quote? We talking about practice, not a game, not a game, not a game. We talking about practice. Like, come on, man. Like, what are we doing? What are we doing freaking out about practice? Absolutely laugh out loud funny. It had to be Aguilar, but laugh out loud. I don't care who it was. That was just laugh out loud funny. The Vols wide receiver room starting to look a little bit scary. Mike Matthews day-to-day, really interested to see how that continues to progress and how that continues to come along. Weird to go into a college football season with 7 wideouts, but that's what Josh Heupel decided to do. Guys, going to Norman, Oklahoma, John Mateer, Oklahoma. I saw they're catching a lot of buzz. Saw it over the weekend. I mean, it is a rationally overreact to every clip you see from practice season. That's what it is. Because one clip gets dropped of John Mateer throwing a football in slow motion. Up! Oklahoma to the playoff, baby. John Mateer is going to win Player of the Year. Sooners are going 10-2. It's like, all right, let's relax. Let's relax a little bit. Still, though, the Oklahoma buzz is intoxicating. I will admit, it is intoxicating. Hard not to jump into it. Faison, Razul Faison, the running back, he gets a waiver to practice, not to play yet, but they were not even going to let him practice. Now he's actually practicing. That is, I mean, it's a positive. Do I think the NCAA deems him eligible? I have no idea. You can't count on the NCAA to do much of anything, so hopefully the kid gets his eligibility, but he is at least now practicing after, again, what felt like a really, really silly ruling that he couldn't practice. Crazy. DJ Lagway, thought really encouraging sign for him on Saturday. You saw him throwing the football for Florida. Obviously still limited at practice, but good sign. Good sign. Guy looked healthy to me. I mean, the arm looked good. He was dropping back, spinning it. I think in 2 weeks, this Lagway thing is going to be a non-story. I think he'll be fine. I'm not worried like some. There's so many out there worried about the Lagway stuff. I'm if it's next week and we're still hearing about, man, that boot and, he's limited, well, maybe then I'm like, oh, this is not good. I think Lagway is going to be totally fine. I do. I just think it's overreaction season, and we're trying to overreact every little piece of news that we have. Finally, Deuce Knight at Auburn continuing to get reps at QB2. This is Jackson Arnold's team, but Deuce Knight right on his heels. Eric Singleton catching a lot of the buzz and the hype and excitement from folks. Not surprised. This kid's going to be a stud. He's going to be a freak. I think Eric Singleton's the kind of guy. Here's what's wild about Auburn. They haven't had a 1,000-yard receiver, I believe, since 1999. Somebody will correct me if I'm wrong. Haven't had a 1,000-yard receiver in quite a while, right? Over 25 years. They might have 2 this year. Like Cam Coleman and Eric Singleton might both go over 1,000, which in that scenario, obviously, I mean, Auburn's winning 8+ games, probably competing for the playoff, but it's possible. I mean, Eric Singleton, that kind of dude. So really excited for what he can do for the Tigers this season. Guys, that being said, we're going to go ahead and wrap it up. Again, I appreciate each and every single one of you. Solo show. It's always fun. I kind of enjoy the solo shows at times. It's gives me the opportunity to just yap. I'm a big yapper. Just big yapper. Ramble on and take some questions for you guys and hang out and have a good time. So again, appreciate each and every single one of you tuning in. Guys, content is bleeding out of the eyeballs for us right now. So make sure whatever you do, you stay notified because, again, Overtime Drive is continuing on Mondays and Thursdays. We will add Sundays starting the weekend of week 0. That is not that far off. What are we? 1, 2, 3 weeks away from the first Sunday Fun Day show of the Overtime Drive. Going to be a lot of fun as we gear up for week 1. I'm going to be dropping game-by-game predictions for every single team starting late this week. We're finishing up team previews featuring a special guest from each individual beat. Talking about the team, we're wrapping those up again, guys. We're continuing with the preseason segments. Probably, maybe not next week, but early the following. We'll start previewing predicting game 1, guys. we're going to start previewing and predicting week 1 of the college football season. We are that close to everything. So again, it's content bleeding out of the eyeballs. Make sure you like, subscribe, turn on notifications. Check us out via podcast. If you get your podcast, you can also find us across all social media platforms, as well as our website, secunfiltered.com. Till next time, guys, I am Chris Phillips. This is the Overtime Drive, SEC Unfiltered's college football show, the best college football and SEC football show on the internet. Guys, appreciate each and every single one of you. Y'all have a great rest of your Monday night, and we will talk to you all on Thursday.